The brackets are set, the matchups are set, and it's championship week here in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Welcome inside to Hot Hoops, presented by Q30 Television and Q30 Sports, alongside of two esteemed Quinnipiac women's basketball beat reporters, John Franklin and Josh Silverman. I'll be your host, Maury Hirschgordon, and let's get right down to business, guys. First part of the show will be all about the women's side. You guys have covered the women's teams all year very extensively. We're going to start with the bracket, and then we're going to get into some postseason awards. Quinnipiac at the top as the 1 seed, Iona as the 2, Marist as the 3, and then Fairfield and Monmouth is the 4 and 5. They receive first round byes. Any upsets in the first round between the 6 through 11 seeds?
More, the only one I see is Niagara squeaking out a win against Canisius. And that's really barely an upset considering it's an 8-9 game. But it's a toss-up for me, and I'm going the way of Niagara.
Yeah, for me, both teams, I feel like in that match are, kind of evenly matched because they are 8 and 9 seeds. I guess I could see Niagara winning, but once they face Quinnipiac, I really don't think it's going to matter.
Sienna's been on a down spiral. Alley Jack's squad jumped out to an 8-1 record to start the season, and they finish in 7th. Could you see Ryder upsetting Sienna, but Sienna's on its home court?
No, I really don't see it. Ryder's been struggling all season. There's not much there for them to go off of. It would be a great bracket buster, but really I think they got that one.
Josh, you agree?
Yeah, I really don't see Sienna losing. Like you said, it's a little bit of their home court, and they still have the tools and great players to win. I really don't see a team like Ryder beating them.
So on to the quarterfinals. We all agree that Quinnipiac will win?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any upsets between Iona Sienna, Marist Manhattan, and Fairfield Monmouth? Which is the best game in your opinion?
In my opinion, Marist Manhattan. Manhattan is points per game as a team, just 1 point lower. Marist is averaging 62.3 points per game. Manhattan at 61.3. Toss up, and with John Olenowski, I absolutely believe that Manhattan could potentially win that game. And Maury, you heard it first here. John Franklin saying that game, whoever wins that game is going to go on to win the next one.
Josh?
For me, I would have to say the closest game will be the Iona-Sienna game, but I see Iona, Marist, and Quinnipiac all advancing. I really don't see any other team beating them.
So come the semifinals, Quinnipiac against?
Marist.
Semifinals.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's my bad.
Quinnipiac Fairfield, Quinnipiac Monmouth?
I'm sorry, yes, my bad. Quinnipiac versus Fairfield. Fairfield, they don't really have a deep bench, and I think that's why they will lose to Quinnipiac. But I mean, Fairfield beating Monmouth, definitely.
John, a lot of teams think, and a lot of coaches think, that after Quinnipiac, Iona, and Marist, there's a big drop-off. But which of the top 3 would be prone to a loss? You think it is Manhattan?
I'm saying Manhattan's beating Marist.
Okay.
I'm saying Manhattan's beating
And then Manhattan will defeat either Sienna or Iona?
I'm telling you here again, Iona is going to beat Sienna. But then after that, Manhattan riding that much of a high after beating a team like Marist with Tori Giroux, Sydney Coffey, they're going to beat Iona because Iona doesn't have the depth. They got a guard in Lizarazu and a big man in Joy Adams. And other than that, big talent drop-off and not a lot of depth. I see Manhattan riding that wave all the way to the final.
So that championship game for you, John, is between who and who emerges?
The Bobcats, the Jaspers. Bobcats win their second one straight.
Josh?
Quinnipiac versus Marist, and I think I might see Marist winning this. I think that Quinnipiac, in the coming years, they have the tools to, repeat regular season championship as long as Trisha Fabry is the coach and they have this young squad. But I see Marist with Tori Giroux at the head. I see them winning the MAAC.
Mind you, gentlemen, in Quinnipiac's last 5 games, it faced the top 4 teams. It defeated Fairfield by 25. It disposed of Marist at home. It beat Iona when it was down 3 at halftime. It went up as much as 21 by 16. So definitely Quinnipiac, I feel, would have to have a major collapse. My one upset, I guess you could call it, is Sienna over Iona in the quarterfinals. Sienna, the Saints have home court advantage, and I think Iona sometimes can get a little too lackadaisical on their end. They have some slow defenders around the perimeter, and Joy Adams, if she's not having a good day, and a Sienna big can stymie her down low, I think Billy Godsey and her team might find a trap in Sienna. But other than that, we have Quinnipiac emerging, we have Marist emerging, and we have Quinnipiac emerging. Now on to the postseason awards. Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, 6th player, coach, and player. So, John, I want your Rookie of the Year first.
We've been talking about her all year, Maury. It's got to be Erin McClure. Hands down. She got 4 Rookie of the Week honors within the MAAC. She's got a Women's National Rookie of the Week, according to the U.S. Basketball Writers Association. She was a preseason freshman MAAC Player of the Year, and she's fourth in the MAAC in field goal percentage at 46.9%. She's having an unbelievable campaign for the Bobcats. Real catalyst for this team. One of the major reasons they went on such a win streak. I can't see her being beaten by any of the other players in the category for Rookie of the Year.
Josh, a lot of people say in the conference that her biggest competition could be her own teammate.
Yeah, and that's what I have. I have Paula Strauss-Renee winning the award. Although if Erin McClure wins it, all the credit to her, all the credit to Strauss-Renee. They both deserve the award. If they could give it to both, I think they would. But you can't. One person has to win the award. Here's the difference for me: is Paula can shoot the three. Erin McClure is 0 for 8 from the three this year, and Paula leads the team. I think that will put her over the top. She has 83 offensive rebounds to 84 defensive rebounds. Although she trails McClure in rebounds, the 83 offensive, I think that and the fact that she can shoot the three, she's won 3 MAAC Rookie of the Weeks, McClure's won 4, but I think the 3-point and the offensive rebounds is what gives her the award.
Is the Defensive Player of the Year as we move along another Bobcat?
No. In my opinion, it's Joy Adams. Iona is first in scoring defense. Joy Adams is second in defensive rebounding and third in steals. I mean, Joy Adams, she's not number 1 in the categories, but she's defensive player in my mind.
I actually agree with Josh. A lot of people talk Tori Giroux. She's number 1 in a lot of the defensive categories, including rebounds. But Joy Adams is right there with her. In rebounds per game, she's tied with Tori Giroux. Joy Adams is with 12.1. And Joy Adams is also at 2.1 steals per game, and she's averaging just over 33 minutes a game. So that means the Gales need her on both ends of the court. She's not an offensive catalyst. She's both ends of the ball. I think she's the Defensive Player of the Year.
So both of these guys have Joy Adams as their Defensive Player of the Year. I'm going to look totally different at Amani Tatum of Manhattan, and then as well as Maria Napolitano. I think Napolitano has been so consistent defensively. She has done a tremendous job to will her team back from a 5-7 start overall and an 0-3 start in Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference play to now 17 straight wins. I think despite her offensive game just being non-existent through the first half of the season, I think the last 5-6 games she's really turned it on. So I think she gets the nod for Defensive Player of the Year. As we move along, the 6th man of the year, the 6th player.
Going back, it's a Bobcat for me. Sarah Schuin, 8.4 points per game. She has a .378 field goal percentage. She's having a lights-out year coming off the bench for Trisha Fabry's team. She's just over 74% from the charity stripe. She's been a catalyst. She's been someone that the Bobcats have looked to come off the bench when they're struggling. And when they are struggling, she's been the fire starter. She's been the person to go to. And I think that's what a 6th player does. I noted some stats, but they're supposed to come off the bench and be a reason why a team can go on a win streak like the Bobcats have gone on to. And that's why I think she's the 6th player of the year.
Mine has to be Alexis Lewis of Iona. She's played in 31 games, but she's only started 3 of them. She averages 9.3 points per game. She has 44 steals, almost 5 rebounds per game, and she shot almost 40%. She's been a great player for this Iona team.
Alexa Lewis from Iona College on the All-MAAC rookie team from the Gales. She definitely has had a great freshman season and is a big reason why the Gales finished 2nd. Now the 2 big-time awards. Coach of the Year, Jonathan.
John Olenowski. He took a team that was 3-27 overall last year, 2-18 in the MAAC, and has brought them to 11-9 in the MAAC and 14-15 overall. And like I said, could go all the way to the finals. So, Maury, he's a lock for me. I think he could do it.
If it's not Olenowski, there are plenty of coaches between Georges, even Godsey, Fabry, Olenowski. Josh, in your mind, is it an easy decision?
It's not an easy decision, but for me, it's Trisha Fabry. We were talking before the show a little bit about what makes someone an MVP or an of the year, regardless of what the first letter is. For me, it's Trisha Fabry because when you look at the team that she started with and any team that she would go to, I think she makes that team that much better. And, I think if you take her off that team, I don't think they're where they are right now, and that's why she is Coach of the Year.
I have to agree with you. All 5 starters bounced from Quinnipiac due to graduation and another one off the bench. Trisha Fabry and the Bobcats returned just 17 points from last year's 31 victory campaign. And Fabry noted after the regular season conference championship victory at Iona on Sunday that she welcomes challenges. She welcomes challenges. When her team was 0-3, her coaching staff and they had to go back to the film. They had to look things over. They had to revitalize everything. So when you only bring back 17 points and you start 0-3 after having such a successful season and seasons in the past two in the NEC and the first year in the MAAC with Brittany McQuain and Cammie Warner, I think Fabry, you're right, has just done a tremendous job, and she has totally revitalized this program. And they're set. They're set for 4 or 5 years down the line. We can talk about that on another show. But John Olenowski for Coach of the Year for John, Trisha Fabry for Josh. Player of the Year. Josh, I'll start with you.
Tori Gerose. She's first in scoring. I mean, you can go down the categories. First in scoring, first in rebounding, first in field goal percentage, first in block shots. She leads almost every category. I almost thought about putting her as my defensive player of the year. Also, I didn't. That is Joy Adams. And I think that's why Marist wins, because when you see her shot, I mean, just it's such a nice shot. It's so fluid. She's definitely MVP in my mind.
Completely agree. She's top 10 in 8 conference categories this year. She's having an unbelievable campaign. I think Tori Gerose has it locked for me, Maury. She really does. There's no reason she falls short. She's the MVP.
Tori Gerose, the 6th year, she came back to lead her Marist Red Foxes to yet another NCAA tournament appearance. We shall see if Gerose from Poughkeepsie, New York, gets the nod on the Player of the Year. Personally, I think it's Joy Adams. Just too much history, too many record-setting performances by Adams. She's done just a tremendous job for Iona to finish in 2nd place after D'Amica Martinez left. The team was really riding her shoulders. Anything else from 1st, 2nd, 3rd team? Any surprises? Because I had a quick question. It's pretty surprising that Quinnipiac finishes in 1st place.
And no one on the first team.
And no one is on the first team. You know, I haven't done enough research as to go back in history how long ago that happened when a team finishes in 1st place outright and doesn't get a player on the first team. Do you think that was a little surprising?
For me, Maury, it wasn't, because I talked to Trisha Fabry about this. Anyone on this team can shoot, and everyone on this team does shoot. And that is why they don't have one player that they have to rely on like someone like a team like Fairfield does. They need that one player in shots line, and that's why she's first team. But Quinnipiac has so many different scorers. You know, every game someone different leads the team in scoring. So they didn't really need one player to make the all team. You know, they just needed the whole team to show up.
Is versatility the word for Quinnipiac? Is that why?
Absolutely. I totally agree. And the one point that I wanted to make, Maury, is that earlier in the year we were actually in a presser where Mountain McGillivray noted that his team, if you look at it, probably has the most minutes coming off the bench out of any other team in the conference. And that could be a main reason why his team, like his players, aren't on the first team ballot. It's just because they have so many players that are going to step up, like Josh said, in a big situation and do what they have to do.
Well, you heard it here. We have Quinnipiac emerging as the MAAC champion. We have Marist, and we have Quinnipiac. For more information about the women's teams, about the women's tournaments, any news, check out our website. We will be at Albany in just a couple days. I can't wait. At Q30television.com. Follow them on Twitter. They'll have live game updates of all the women's, some even men's games. You guys will be there. Just a tremendous opportunity for these young studs to be up in Albany. John is on Twitter at HeyIt'sFranklin6, and Josh is on Twitter at Josh M. Silverman. When we come back, the man they call TC and the big lanky runner Dylan Fearon will join me as men's basketball analysts, and we'll break down the bracket and first teams and postseason awards as well. Stay with us. Welcome back to Hot Hoops. Thanks for watching. Now it's the men's basketball edition. Tom Cunningham, like I mentioned right before break, the man they call TC, Dylan Fearon, Stretch, as I like to call him. Guys, you've done a great job all year. It's been a fun year. It's been a year filled with parity. It's been a year filled of upsets. It's been a year full of bench mobs. So let's get right down to things. The bracket is pretty interesting. Yeah. Monmouth at the 1, Iona College at the 2, Siena at the 3. It's home court, Jimmy Pastos. It's not a neutral court. St. Peter's at the 4, Fairfield at the 5. Those 5 are locked in to play either Friday or Saturday in the quarterfinals. The best first-round game, though, Tom?
I think it's going to be Quinnipiac and Ryder. Both teams sort of evenly matched right there, the 8-9 matchup. The 8-9 matchups are pretty, even in the NCAA tournament, they're usually pretty evenly matched teams. I think Quinnipiac is going to, you can call it an upset. I think Quinnipiac will win this game. I think Danny Harris is going to come out and shoot lights out in this game. Also, we heard Gio McLean on Senior Day say that coming to Quinnipiac was the best decision he's ever made. And I don't think he's going to let their run end in the first round. I think he's going to carry them to a first-round victory.
It's hard to disagree with that, but you could look at the Canisius-Niagara game, the 7-10 game. Both teams from Buffalo, a little bit of rivalry there. Canisius is really well coached by Jim Barron. They've got offensive pieces. Malcolm McMillan is really good offense with a fifth-year guard from Central Connecticut State. Niagara's got good pieces, Emil Blackman, Matt Scott. So that's a really good matchup. I think the third matchup, Manhattan and Marist, that's nothing. I think Steve Masiello's got that one already in his back pocket. But those two first-round games are the ones to watch.
Quarterfinals set for Friday and Saturday, different this year. Last year it was all set on one day, and then the women's was on another. So Monmouth against Quinnipiac. Winner?
Well, I don't think it's a lock that Quinnipiac even gets to Monmouth, to be honest with you. I think Ryder and Quinnipiac have played each other twice, obviously.
Right.
First time out, Quinnipiac gets a 4-point win at home, and then the second time out, Ryder wins by 23 on their home court. I don't think it's given that Quinnipiac even wins, there's a lot of pressure on Quinnipiac to
Does
win.
Monmouth advance?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, no
Okay.
doubt.
Tom?
I think Monmouth will beat whoever comes out of that Quinnipiac-Ryder matchup.
Okay.
But no Deion Jones, you never know. As we said, it's a coin flip.
Right.
You still got to play out the game. St. Peter's made it to the semis last year. You just don't know. It's not a guarantee, but I think for the most part, Monmouth should advance, barring something catastrophic.
I think, barring a miracle.
Yeah.
I think outside of the Monmouth versus Ryder Quinnipiac game, every quarterfinal game is tremendous. Iona and Canisius will be a tremendous game. AJ English doesn't want his career to end. Canisius, excellent coach in Jim Barron. Canisius and Iona played a great game Sunday in New Rochelle. Siena, Manhattan, you have back-to-back champs. You have a Siena upstart team with Marquise Wright back, Brett Bisping, Javion Ogunyemi, Jimmy Pastos, home court. And you have St. Peter's and Fairfield, two slow teams. Two teams that didn't have first-round byes last year that get the day off, that only have to play one less game. So of those three, the best game. It's going to be hard to pick one, but Dylan, which one?
I think it's St. Peter's Fairfield, the one that's already locked in. They've already obviously played each other twice. St. Peter's has won both games. I think it's really tough to beat a team 3 times in a season. We saw Quinnipiac 2 years ago. They beat Manhattan twice, couldn't get it done in the tournament. I think Fairfield's got the advantage in this one. It's really hard to win 3 times against a team. And plus St. Peter's defense against Fairfield's offense, 2 great coaches in Sid Johnson and John Dunn. That's the one to watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna say the Siena and Manhattan matchup. Obviously, Siena, they're gonna pack the Times Union Center in. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be crazy in there. I can't wait for that matchup. But then you got Manhattan on the other side. Manhattan, Shane Richards, obviously lights out shooter, one of the best shooters in the conference, and Steve Masiello. You can't argue with Steve Masiello. The man knows how to win in March. He knows how to win, and this team, I think, is gonna be a great matchup. Obviously. Like you said, Maury, Marquise Wright coming back for Siena, Brett Bisping having a great year. But I think Manhattan will win that game, but I think that's going to be a great matchup.
I agree. That atmosphere will be second to none come tournament time. 7,600 people for Siena Quinnipiac on its senior day last Sunday. So I think when Manhattan comes in with the name, with the brand that they've formed over the past couple years, definitely I think that game will be great. Semifinals, who advances from the left part of the bracket?
I've got Fairfield and Monmouth.
That's what I have as well. I think Fairfield will get it done. I think they're not going to lose 3 times to St. Peter's. I think the offense will get them to the semis. Marcus Gilbert, Tyler Nelson, and you can't go wrong with Sid Johnson. Guys turned around a great program.
And who to the championship?
I've got
the left side.
Monmouth.
I've got Monmouth.
Monmouth. And then the right side, obviously extremely brutal between Iona, Siena, Manhattan. But who emerges from the right-hand side?
I think it'll be Iona. I don't think AJ English is going to let them lose again for the 3rd straight time. I think they'll get to the championship, and I actually think they'll win, but we'll save that.
I've got Iona taking out Manhattan. Obviously, Manhattan has taken out Iona the last couple of years in the championship, but I think I think Manhattan gets past Iona again this time in the semifinals. Manhattan makes their 3rd straight trip to the MAAC championship.
Wow.
A little bit of an upset there.
Yeah,
A little bit of an
for
upset
sure.
there with that one.
I mean, is it an upset though? They've won 2 straight. They have a great coach.
They know how to do it. They know how
Every
to
year
get it
they
done.
seem to rebuild.
I can't get
and-
myself
Right.
to go against them.
The bench is just so short,
Yeah,
and they haven't had
for sure.
scholarship players.
Yep,
I
for
think
sure.
that's the only argument you can make.
Yep.
And I think Jermaine Lawrence should have been there, a big piece. Carlton Allen has been nowhere.
Right, even without depth though, Rich Williams as a 6th man has been really great off the bench.
Tremendous.
14, 15 points per game. He's shooting lights out. I mean, it's hard
And
to
if
go
Shane
against
Richards
Manhattan.
gets going, he can
Right.
shoot with the best of them.
Right.
So the
for sure.
championship game, Tom, you have Monmouth and Manhattan.
Yes.
Dylan, you have Monmouth, Iona.
Yep.
For the past 3 seasons, a number 1 team hasn't emerged from the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Iona College as a 4 seed 3 years ago, and then Manhattan as a 2 and Manhattan as a 3. So is this the first time in 4 years, Tom, that the number 1 overall seed makes the NCAA tournament?
I'm going to go with it. I think Manhattan's run ends in the championship against Monmouth. I think the way Justin Robinson's playing, the way that whole team is just gelling together, they've gelled together all season. I think they're gonna get it done. I don't want to say it's their destiny, but the way they've played we saw them play against some big name schools, the way they ran through the MAAC this year, I think it's Monmouth's year.
Dylan,
Yeah, go ahead.
for your matchup between Monmouth and Iona, both schools got wins on the road. What's, though, the difference on the neutral court?
I just think the fact that, and you said they're gelling and everything, but I don't know. I just don't see Monmouth getting it done. There's a lot of pressure for them to get it done now that there's no at-large, most likely, with the losses in MAAC play. I think they're destined for the NIT. I think Iona's going to get it done, advance the tournament. AJ English has got to get it done once as the leader, as the main guy.
It is tough to agree. AJ English, obviously, phenomenal player.
Tim Clues, great coach. I mean,
he's not going to want to lose 3 years in a row.
They've
in
got
that
Jordan
game.
Washington inside. They've got the pieces this year. No Casimir, but at the same time, I think they're going to finally get it done and advance the tournament. NIT for Monmouth.
So Monmouth at large, Tom, if they lose?
I don't think so. I think, like Dylan said, the in-conference loss is just too much there. I don't think they'll get it.
Despite the great out-of-conference start and the bench mob, all the hype, these guys don't think that Monmouth, if it doesn't win the MAAC tournament, won't make it to the NCAA tournament. All right, now let's get down to the postseason awards. Like the women, rookie, defensive, 6th player, coach, and player. We're going to start in the same order. We're going to go through Dylan, rookie of the year.
I think it's Antoine Portley out of St. Peter's. I think this year in particular, the rookies were great all season long. You look at Curtis Cobb, Antoine Portley, Brian Parker. They've got Nico Clareth for Siena. A lot of great rookies. I think Portley was key. Leads St. Peter's in points. He can shoot the 3. He's been key. And the fact that St. Peter's has been good this year, getting a first-round bye, I think that's what propels him over other guys because the team has been better overall.
I'm going to go with Brian Parker at Marist. He's averaging 16.3 points a game. It's good for 6th in the conference. Obviously, Marist has struggled quite a bit this year, but I think as a freshman, he's a bright spot for them. He's someone that, moving forward, maybe they can try to build something around. 16 points a game, he knows how to score the basketball. So I'm going to go with Brian Parker. Another name to mention who had a great freshman season was Micah Seaborn of Monmouth, 13 points a game. Obviously, all the hype around Monmouth, and for a freshman to come in and put up double-digit points, I think that was impressive.
I agree. Micah Seaborn, not only on the rookie team, also on the 3rd team all-conference. Just the only player from the rookie team to be on any other MAAC team.
It's interesting. I mean, Parker's a great pick for you, Tom. 16 points. He's also shooting 52% from the field. If only Marist had gotten more than 4 conference wins, I probably would have picked him. But the fact that the 11th seed will probably get a first-round exit against Manhattan, I got to go with Portland.
That's also probably the reason why Khalid Hart, who's one of the top scorers not only in the conference but in the nation, didn't get first team. Khalid Hart on the 2nd team. Right. Defensive player of the year, Tom?
I'm going with Javion Oganyemi. A big man, rim protector, leading the conference with 2.1 blocks a game. Really solidified Siena's defense. Last season, Siena with 20 losses. This year, 20 wins. I think Oganyemi in the middle has been a big part of that.
Yeah, I agree. Leading the MAAC in blocks, and the fact that the coaches like to pick big men for this award. We saw Usman Jama get it last year. We've seen Ramel Brown get it 2 years ago.
Right.
I think they continue with the big man mantra, and they pick Oganyemi out of Siena.
6th man.
I think it's Rich Williams, I think, without a doubt, out of Manhattan. Guy's averaging 14 points per game off the pine. He's shooting the ball well. He's been the number 1 option off the bench for Steve Masiello. He's done it all, and he's one of the reasons why they still have a chance. Even though it's a tough road for them after Marist, they've got to go through Siena on their home court. I still think they have a chance because of Rich Williams has been so good, and he's improved so much from last year.
Tom, was Rich Williams' performance in Manhattan's last home game of the season against Iona, in which he put up 24 first-half points, the solidifier?
Absolutely. I don't know how you can disagree with Rich Williams. We obviously know Manhattan, they don't have a very deep bench at all. But Rich Williams coming off averaging 14 points, 6 rebounds, really solidifying that second unit out there. He can score the ball, he can do a lot of different things on the floor. And he is one of the key reasons I have Manhattan going to the championship game. They get a good scorer who can come off the bench, we obviously saw he had a big night with 24 points in the first half. He knows how to score the ball, and I think there's really no question that Rich Williams is the 6th man.
Coach of the year. 2 teams, like I mentioned, Fairfield and St. Peter's, who, tremendous job by both their coaches. Sidney Johnson, we all know how much I love Sidney Johnson, just from his Princeton days and me being from around Philadelphia. And John Dunn, what a tremendous man off the court as well. Just the way he handles himself in the press conferences, just very, very respectful to media, student media particularly. But who's the coach of the year in your eyes?
It's really tough. I mean, the 2 you just mentioned, you got King Rice, you got Tim Clues. You know, Jimmy Patsos with the team he had this year without Marquise Wright. I think it's got to be Sidney Johnson in my eyes. I think your love for him has brushed off on me this season. They were 7-24 last year. Now they're 18-12. That's the fourth largest turnaround in Division I this year. What he's been able to do with this program, Marcus Gilbert is a senior, Tyler Nelson, what he's been able to do, the guys are buying into what he's saying. The offense has been great compared to last year. They only had 33 points in the first round last year in the MAAC tournament. I think that changes around this year. They've been really good getting that top 5 bye. But so many great coaches, it's hard to pick one, but if I had to pick one, it'd be Sid Johnson.
Obviously, you guys have mentioned them all. So many great coaches. Sidney Johnson, my runner-up for the Coach of the Year. I'm going with King Rice of Monmouth. 17-3 in the conference. Just one home loss this season. We know about the big wins that they've gotten against UCLA early on in the year, these non-conference wins. And I just think the way King Rice has Justin Robinson playing, where he's buying in, Robinson can score with the best of them, proving that Monmouth, earlier in the year, we thought they might get an at-large bid. And that's in large part due to the way King Rice had them playing in their out-of-conference schedule, beating some big-time opponents in big-time conferences. So I give the nod to King Rice in a deep pool this year for coaches.
Can't count out John Dunn. I mean, the guy with the facilities at St. Peter's, with the players that have gone through, he's been a really key part in the recruiting process and getting good players to come to Jersey City. And the way that they've been able to consistently been right there for the bye, and this year getting it with that 4, you can't count out John Dunn. The guy has been fantastic.
You both make great points, Sidney Johnson. What a turnaround. King Rice, to have your team playing at such a high level from the get-go. That first night at Pauley Pavilion, and they take down the UCLA Bruins. Just a tremendous performance. Last but not least, the player of the year, gentlemen.
I think I'm going to go with Justin Robinson. I mean, without a doubt, there's a lot of great players in the MAAC AJ English, a couple other players, but it's got to be Justin Robinson. The man's third in the MAAC in points per game with just around 21 points. He leads the MAAC in steals, and the fact that Monmouth's the #1 seed and what they've done all season, we've said it about a dozen times, but what he's been able to do, and he's the offensive starter. He's the quickest player in the MAAC. He can shoot, he can do it all, he can pass, he's great on defense. So, I mean, without a doubt, it's got to be him in my eyes.
Yeah, obviously, the obvious choices are Justin Robinson, AJ English. I'm going to go away from them. I'm going to go with Brett Bisping of Siena. He's the only player in the conference averaging a double-double with 15, nearly 16 points a game, just over 10 rebounds. He was out much of last season. This team, they lost 20 games without him. This year, he comes back. To no surprise, they win 20 games, get a first-round bye, 3rd seed. I think Brett Bisping has been a huge part into what Siena has done this season, and leading the conference in rebounding, first in defensive rebounding as well. I think Bisping is having a great season and deserves to be considered for this award at least.
Tom, tremendous point, because Brett Bisping, 2 years ago before the injury, Siena goes and wins a postseason tournament. Then he's out, and you're right, 20 losses, and then he's back in this year. I don't think he's gotten as much attention as he deserves. I think Marquise Wright, Javion Oganyemi have pulled from that. I think Mama's success and AJ English, just the name, have pulled from that, but tremendous pick as well. Tremendous pick, Justin Robinson. It's such a small height, I think, to do it night in and night out. He's gotten some national attention. He's put some stuff out there on Twitter that's controversial, but I think that helps his game.
And everyone's keying on him every time they prepare for Monmouth. It's like, oh, it's Justin Robinson. Just like with Quinnipiac, we see all the time, Giovanni McLean. So it's the same thing. But really, great season by a lot of MAAC players. It's hard to pick one.
And great season by you guys. Once again, Tom Cunningham and Dylan Fearon breaking everything down about men's basketball. Tom will be in Albany. Dylan has track priorities, so you can find out everything on Twitter with Tom Cunningham at TomCunny13. Dylan will also be on call.
He'll be on standby, baby.
He'll be on standby at Dylan Fearon _ Dylan. Thank you for everything that you will be doing here in advance. On anything I have to say, you can check out my Twitter at Mahirsch, MAHHERSH. Once again, for all of our coverage, previews, game recaps, videos, interviews, Q30television.com will be your source for everything Quinnipiac and MAAC tournament related information. For Hannah Cotter, Pat Pitts, Michael Bonavita, as well as the 2 women's basketball analysts and the 2 men's basketball analysts, I'm Maury Hirsch-Gordon. Thanks for watching.